This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
You guys definitely are showing you belong. They're a team to be reckoned with here, and you're working your asses off on them because that same day, after working 3 times the day before, you and Telly would travel to the old Spectrum in Philadelphia. By the way, that's the first place I ever saw live wrestling was in Philadelphia, December of 1986. Was a Hulk Hogan, Paul Orndorff show. So there you go. You guys are there here. It's November 88. The event was broadcast on Prism, and friend of the show, Richard Land, who helps find all these clips for us, he was actually able to help find that show on Prism that I just talked about that I attended. That's neither here nor there, but he does a really nice job for us finding all these awesome clips. It was shown on Prism. 12,000 fans watched the Brainbusters defeat Roma and Powers in the opening match, and you guys are moving on. And this is really all weird because the next day you're in Binghamton, New York. 1,700 people watched the Brainbusters best the Young Stallions. So these fans here, the crowds aren't as big as what we've been talking about. The following day, all 4 of you flew across the country to Salt Lake City, Utah, and wrestled in front of 3,300 fans, with you and Tully picking up the win. So there you go. But I think this is also the perfect time to remind everyone, Arn, of what a WWF travel day looked like in 1988. Walk us through what the trip from New York to Salt Lake looked like for you during this time without private planes.
Okay, so we were in Binghamton.
You started in Philly. You went to Binghamton, New York. Then you headed over to Salt Lake City, Utah, all within 2 days of each other.
Well, we would have had to have gotten back to a major airport, so we would have had to have, after the show, driven to, I don't know what would be closer, probably Newark, of the New York airports.
Okay, yeah, Newark, New Jersey.
You know, I'd have to have a map in front of me, but again, since you're flying 2/3 of the way across the country, Salt Lake City, there wasn't a flight every hour or every 2 hours, so you had to be on that nonstop flight. So if you left the arena, say at 10:30 at night, and you drove back, and I don't know how many miles that is, but you would get a hotel by whatever airport that was in New York, and you would be on the first flight out. And it was, I want to say that's a 4-hour flight. And again, you're sitting back there in a coach seat, and you had to be up at the crack of dawn, and you got on the plane. If you could sleep on planes, that was to your benefit. I happen to be a guy that could sleep on planes, as long as I wasn't too jammed up or had a middle seat or something that stupid. But you would get there, same thing. Now you got in the wagon train and got off the plane, went to the rent-a-car, go check in, the whole rigmarole. It was a daily thing, that line. And if you could get a seat, here was a trick that nobody would have even thought about, really, I guess, because people that don't travel that often, it's not a big deal. We would try to, if you couldn't get upgraded, and with those tickets that were worthless, you couldn't upgrade them. Every now and then you'd see a wrestling fan working the gate, and he'd bump you up, occasionally. But get the first row behind first class. So you were the first one off the plane.
There you go.
Which meant you were the first one in the rent-a-car line, which meant you were the first one into the hotel. That whole sequence of events, you could either be first, or there would be as many as 10, 12, 14 guys lined up to get the rent-a-car, to get the room, sign in at the gym, you name it. And it was an everyday issue.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.